Welcome back to the Unadvisable. Was that loud? I'm going to redo it. No, because I like get excited and yell. I'll just start over.
And 5, 4.
Welcome back to the Unadvisable, where we try to help others when we can't even help ourselves. Apparently, that's our tagline. I don't know if it'll stick, but it's what we've been saying. And I just want to start this episode off with acknowledging that we've had quite the day. We almost canceled the podcast today due to some audio issues. Does anybody want to take a little moment to explain what happened?
No, I'm covering my eyes from the tears that I've cried.
I hate audio, but Gleb fixed it.
I want Gleb to explain it because
I will explain it because I'm a genius and I fixed it.
All right, calm down, but also go ahead.
Okay, so right before we started, we heard a random buzz in our headphones, So we unplugged the mics. We did all the usual troubleshooting steps, and it was still there. There was still a weird buzz. So what we did afterwards is we literally unplugged everything, and we just tried to backtrack to see where it was coming from. And then we decided
This started at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I'd say it took us an hour and a half to figure it out.
Yep. So then we decided, okay, let's try to go to a different room to see if it's still there. Well, we went downstairs, and it was there, but it was much fainter. And it was closer to the ceiling than it was to the floor. So then we went to the kitchen, and once again, it wasn't there closer to the floor, but it was up there near the ceiling. And then when you bring it closer to the ceiling lights that Caitlin has
it was like
in her house, it was like super loud.
It was bad.
And really bad.
So
insert clip here.
Insert the...
It's gone, right? Okay, hold it up.
What
Are you listening?
That's terrible.
Okay, no, hold it there. Hold it there.
Oh, God! We did it! Turn it up!
Why are these not... Why are they turning up? Okay, hold on. Where's another light switch?
I don't think live streams save on Instagram, but I needed that. I recorded that. It's gone.
Clip
because
here.
I did record it.
It's literally right under from where we record.
Yep.
Yep.
And once we brought it closer, it was super loud. So then I thought about it. I was just like, well, it's weird because, there's got to be something there. The kitchen lights were on. So I tried turning them off, but they still stayed on. They flickered on and then came back on. And Caitlin screamed
they literally went like this, and in my head, because I had the headphones on, they went like popping electric sound. So I thought I was getting electrocuted or something. And so that's why I scream in the video, which we have the audio recorded. So if it sounds okay, I'm going to have Gleb attach it to it so you guys can hear it. But it was insane. Anyways, continue. So we were filming our podcast today, and now our audio sucks. So
stop it.
We look like we're
trying to troubleshoot.
Okay, hold it up to the
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah.
It's prominent here.
It's bad over there. Come here, put it on.
Yeah, it's really bad right here. It's the wiring.
Okay, it's
You hear it?
terrible.
Okay, down.
Okay. Hold on.
No, I know it's gone. It's not there.
It's gone.
It's
right?
gone.
Okay, hold it up.
What is it? That's terrible.
It's bad.
Hold it there. Hold it there. Why are these not? Why are they turning up? Okay, hold on. There's not a light switch.
I don't think live streams save on Instagram, but I needed that. I recorded that. It's gone.
Hold it up. Hold it up to the ceiling. So it sounded really loud. So I'm like, okay, it has to do something with those lights because you can hear it up there. And I found the other light switch which was in the middle, so it wasn't on or off, which is why I couldn't turn them off. So I turned those off, and it was gone. It was all gone.
So
there was nothing there.
We decided to continue with we went and got some food and regrouped after we figured this out. But this is a tip to anybody who may be recording audio or something like that. If you have interference, turn off all your lights or anything in your house that may be sending a signal, because it could be interfering. And it's just, honestly, I feel insane. But there's your tech tip for the day.
I hate it.
We use a Zoom H6, but Yeah, just watch the video. Maybe we played it before this. I don't know. I don't know when Gleb's gonna put it in.
I'll play the screen grab because that's all
I think you should
have.
play it like right now.
Okay.
Or just in between when you could decide. But that's why we needed a little bit of warming up today, and so it took us. It is now, what time is it? 4:12.
We were supposed to be done 2 hours
We were supposed
ago.
to be done at 3, so we were all kind of irritated, but we're like, you know what, we're gonna do this, and so we're kind of keeping the show light today. Mitch is gonna kind of lead it, but we're gonna play like a game throughout the show. First off, do you want to take over and ask like how was your week? Do you want to take the reign?
I want to wrap up a little bit what we talked about last week. Fear of
Mitch
failure.
is in charge.
Is there anything that y'all did last week that you were like, hey, I did this tweak that we talked about on the show. Let me share it with you.
Yeah. Well. It wasn't anything like that I did, like going to the movie by myself or anything like that. But I went to like an interview and I said yes to a couple things throughout the week that I probably would normally say no to. I don't want to say what they are, but I said yes to a couple opportunities and I went to an interview as well. So
There you go.
didn't say yes because I haven't been offered anything yet. But I took a few steps last week because a lot of the times when I get offered things, I will like think too hard about it and I'll be like, no, I don't have the time for it. But last week I was like, you know what? Let's change some stuff.
Change it up.
So that's what it's not like super specific because I don't want to say things, but like.
That's okay. I'll go ahead and speak for her. What this was, I'm just kidding. I won't do that.
I don't care. I don't want, it's not important.
Gleb, how about you? Anything random from last week?
My week was like super uneventful.
We're such boring people.
We are,
Stop. No,
especially
we're
me.
not.
I edited last week's podcast.
Shout out to
Shout
Gleb
out to Gleb for being
for like setting
our
up
editor.
Spotify, setting up YouTube, editing everything,
And
putting on, like,
basically
lower
We're still working on
thirds.
getting it out onto Google Podcasts
Oh,
and
where's an
Apple
update on that?
Podcasts. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how Anchor FM works fully. It said something like your podcasts weren't able to be distributed to that for some reason, and then it gave like a list of common reasons. So I try to like work that and resubmit it,
I
and
just
it
want
wouldn't
it on
work for some
everything.
reason.
I want more people to
So I'm trying to
listen.
figure it out.
I want less
Anyways.
people to listen.
This episode might be kind of dry, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see how it
we're
goes.
we're
No,
in
it's
the
gonna be
process. We're
hilarious.
just doing this. We kind of use this podcast as like a release from our day-to-day lives because it's just fun for us to get together and stuff. Except we got super annoyed today because audio is terrible, but we figured it out. So we learned from it today.
We learned from it. That was our fear of failure.
Yeah.
Is that we didn't stop trying. When they say we
didn't.
mostly mean
We
Gleb.
almost gave up. We almost gave up.
We almost gave up.
Okay, Mitch, continue on.
So let's continue on. So let's like we already did the weekly catch up. So let's move on to like what we're gonna talk about today. Today's episode is gonna be brought to you by mispronouncing words like catch up or ketchup. Did I say it right, Gleb?
It's ketchup.
Ketchup.
It sounds exactly the same to me. If I try to say it the right way, it's with a heavy E, so it's like ketchup.
Ketchup.
And I have to, like
Ketchup?
poke my jaw out.
Ketchup.
Gleb, can you wrap up that story of how that came to be?
Okay, so this was a few months ago. Was in springtime.
I don't know.
Sometime. Yeah, Mitch and I were working with Nasdaq in San Francisco, and we went to a restaurant with Leanne. She was one of the hosts from Nasdaq that we were working with, and we're all sitting there and talking. And was it someone that asked you if you wanted some ketchup?
I don't know. I
Or-
said that I wanted ketchup.
Yeah, Mitch said that he wanted ketchup, but
I'm
me-
saying it right.
both me and Leanne, we both just look over at him and we're like, "You said, what did you say?"
They didn't miss a beat, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
They're like, "Did you just say ketchup?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I said ketchup. Like ketchup and mustard." It sounds right in my head.
Ketchup.
It's ketchup.
It's
Ketchup.
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 I'm done with this.
You're saying
Already.
ketchup, like cat.
Like I'm gonna
Like,
catch
see
up
it-
too.
It's
It's
ketchup.
the same thing.
Like give it some New York to it. Ketchup.
I don't want to. So that's what our podcast is about today.
Yeah.
It's about words that we mispronounce, maybe, or there's just two ways to say them, and it's like agree or disagree.
There actually is
So-
one that we'll get to. I kind of want Caitlin to talk about her experience in Price, though, because she had some really funny ones.
Carbon County.
From, like, Carbon County, Utah,
Well,
like,
here's
small
the thing.
town
It's
USA.
a joke, and it's not just Carbon County. It's kind of Utah. As a
Okay,
whole,
well, Price
but
is kind of
Carbon
fun.
County is pretty strong. We don't believe in T's half the time.
Teas? I think
That's
that's Utah.
that's a Utah thing
No,
in general.
but yeah, but I,
mean,
think
Utah.
it's stronger where I'm from. Like we like definitely have like hick in us, I guess, and so like we don't say. But this I don't know. I thought this is Utah. Like Huntington is Huntington.
Yeah. That's Utah.
Yeah. We
That's
don't believe in
Utah, right?
T's.
But then let me think. What's another one? Mountain.
Mountain.
Common.
Do you say mountain?
I say Layton when it should be Layton.
Yeah, Layton. See, I think that's Utah.
It's Utah.
But
it's a
no, there's
Utah
like,
thing.
and then in Price, my family says crick instead of creek. Something my grandparents do. Like, we're gonna go down to the creek to fish.
One of my friends
I
says
have-
that, and I hate it. So
Well,
much.
I don't ever
a-
really talk about that, so I
A
don't
couple
say
of
it.
my friends say that too. They've
Crick.
lived in Utah their whole life, so they say crick
No,
instead
that's
of
like
creek.
every time I go camping, my grandpa always gets up at like 5 a.m. and my grandma's like, oh, he's down at the creek. Like
Yeah.
it's just what it is.
Another one. Do you know Hooper?
Hooper.
Up by Roy,
Mhm.
the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hupper,
No.
but it has like 2 O's right after the H, like the word hoop. But people say no, it's like Hupper.
I hate it.
And then
Yeah.
hunting.
I always argue
hunting,
about that.
Hunting.
Or what about the town of
Hunting.
Hurricane down in
Hurricane.
southern
You
Utah?
you have to be from
You
Utah
said
to
hurricane.
know what that is.
Hurricane.
But it's spelt like hurricane.
Hurricane.
It makes no sense.
Hurricane.
You have one more though that I'm thinking of, and you haven't said
Tuala.
it yet. It's not.
And
It's
people
not a
get
Is
that
it
wrong
a
all the
Carbon
time.
County one?
It's the one that your friend brought up.
Milk?
Yeah.
I don't think that's Carbon County. I think she's just weird. But because I don't say
But it's mispronounced words.
it is. So she says Malk.
With an A.
And have you seen the video of his name's Julian Smith? He's an old YouTuber. He does a whole video that's like about milk, and he's like, "It's milk."
Oh my god. No, I haven't seen it yet.
It's really funny. I don't think we can put. Can we put it in the video? Maybe I don't
Maybe
know.
just
If I
put
can
the
find
link.
it.
But yeah, but so it. She says milk. See, I have to think about it because I say milk like a normal person.
Yeah,
Milk.
milk sounds right.
But milk,
It's hilarious.
milk. How
Milk.
do you say milk? Do you
Milk.
say it? And then pillow is another one that she brought up.
No, it's not. How does she say it?
She says like palo.
No.
No, it is like that, but I think I overdid it. See, it's hard for me because I say normal pillow, but she
Pillow.
says like palo.
I hate it.
But
I
I
don't
think
get
she
it.
does it wrong. Maybe I don't know. It's something I know. Pillow said weird. I
no,
don't
it
know.
says pillow. It's
Pa-
pretty normal.
Pillow.
Pretty simple word.
Pillow.
Pillow.
Pretty simple word indeed.
Now
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
confuse myself.
Do you want me
after
to
listening
keep
to
going,
this.
or do you want to? Because I have other things that are just not Carbon County ones.
Yeah, keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, keep going.
And then my friend from Slick,
Oh no.
he says taco.
What's his name so people can leave hate comments?
Brad.
towards him? Brad, what are you doing,
I
Brad?
gave him so much crap about it when
And you should.
when I first heard him say it. I was like, "What?"
Does he intentionally does that?
No, I don't think he does.
Brad, can you leave a comment below and tell us?
He was like telling me a serious story. He was just saying, so like I think like I went and got a taco. He literally said that in a mid sentence, and I was just like, huh? I've never heard anybody say that before, and that was like a few years ago. So
I
maybe
say
he doesn't.
taco.
Taco, yeah.
I'd say taco because I'm a sane person as well. So hit us with those weird pronunciations in the comments below, please, so
Yes.
everyone can see them and get anxiety.
What else you got, Mitchie?
Gleb wants to talk about the letter W today, sponsored
Okay.
by W from Russia.
Why do you keep saying sponsored? We don't have any money.
Who wants to sponsor us?
Sponsors.
Please sponsor.
Sponsors.
Yay. So I'm from Russia. English is my second language, but I've lived here long enough to kind of, know it pretty well. Do I have an accent?
A little. It's very slight.
Does he? I've never noticed it.
Like he just talks
See?
weird.
I had it both ways. So like, some people say they can hear a slight accent.
I don't think-
Others never realize anything.
I feel like you don't use your tongue enough.
I don't use my.
Wow, what a weird thing to say. Wait, oh my gosh, are you guys dating?
I just meant like when you talk,
I didn't even know it was a third wheel. Oh my god.
Can you cut that
my
out?
God.
Also, I'm really happy for both of
Can
you.
you cut that out? That's
Absolutely
stupid. I should
not.
never say things like
I am
that.
leaving that in because that was hilarious.
Absolutely.
But I just
not.
feel like when you talk, like I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so
Thanks.
yeah. So I've heard some people tell me that I have a slight accent, while others say they never even noticed. Some people say like, "Oh, you're from Russia. You speak English so well," and I'll be like, "Well, yeah, I lived here for 13 years. I think I should know it pretty well by now."
I would hope so.
And but I remember when I first moved here, I've had a much stronger accent, and there's a couple of letters that we have in English, but we don't have in the Russian language, like W. Or that T and H sound. It's very hard to pronounce
But
for
Russia has
non-
letters that we don't understand.
Yeah, we do. But we also have letters that are like, you know how you have S and H. That makes like a sh sound. Yeah, we just have a letter for that. or like the CNH to make the ch sound. We have a letter for that. We just combine like some letters that you guys use 2 letters, but we just use one for some things. Then we have a hard sign and a soft sign too.
I don't know what that means.
It basically tells you how to pronounce the letter that comes before it.
So it's like T or
T. Yeah.
I don't even know where I
It'd
was
be
gonna
like T
go.
or T. Basically like a hard or a soft sound. But we do have like 36 or 34 letters in our
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah,
26
that's
is
a lot.
too much.
I don't
That's a
know
lot
what's going
more.
on.
I want to go back to like just grunts and like sounds.
I am so sorry
We
for
just lost-
everyone's speakers.
We just lost all 3 of our subscribers.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of tension built up today, and I
I
just need
think
to.
we all do. You just need to chill.
Yeah, we're
So,
chilling.
Anyways, and then the other is W. When I first was learning English, when I first moved here, I would pronounce it more with like a V sound because we don't have a W sound in
What's
Russian.
the closest thing in Russian?
Nothing. We don't have anything that sounds
How do
like
you say walrus?
walrus. Morsh.
Oh, with
It's
an M.
completely different word.
Morsh.
Morsh?
Morsh.
Wait, little walrus lesson. Morsh. Like M-O-R.
Morsh.
M-O-R-Z-H.
Z.
It will be ZH sound.
Zesty.
Zh. We have a separate letter for that.
I don't like it. But
Basically,
also
like-
I like it.
I remember reading this online one time, and like the Cyrillic family of languages. It's where like the Russian language comes from, basically compared to like the Latin family that English comes from. It basically takes out a lot of like the filler words. Like I used this example with a friend of mine just the other day. So if you're saying like I'm at my house, that's I'm at my house. It's 4 words,
Well said.
right? Okay, in Russian you'll just say "Я дома." I'm
Wow,
home.
they cut to the chase.
I'm home. Like just 2 words.
Is this a lesson in Russian now?
Apparently, that's,
I wanted to hear about the W thing.
the W.
They just don't have
basically, We don't have
Ws, yeah.
W. A lot of Russians would try to pronounce it with like a more of a V sound, like a V, like woman.
Interesting.
That's how
Yeah.
German is, though. It's
Woman.
Vasa and
Yeah, and a lot of German is actually a pretty popular language.
I don't think W
like
is in
second
German.
language.
oh
in,
yeah, it is. I'm an
Russia.
idiot. What's wrong with me?
But yeah, the W sound is just weird, and also the T and H sound, like the.
Yeah.
That's a really weird sound that nothing in Russia sounds like it. So a lot of people would say like Z or D, like with a Z, because we do have a Z in Russian, but we don't have a D.
So does that? So that relates with basically you have a different perspective on how you.
Well, yeah, like
understand
I had
words and say
I had
words.
to like learn how to pronounce English words in a more proper way, and yeah, now I just correct everyone's grammar.
What's a word that you had a hard time with?
I had a hard time with? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I can't
No,
remember.
if you think of
'cause
something.
If I think of something, I'll let you know. Okay.
So I have left 4 Post-its with words that are commonly mispronounced, and I've been scrambling to find the Google to make sure, because I lost the page, to make sure that we pronounce them correctly. But if I remember right, we'll be golden.
Hopefully you remember. See,
Yeah.
we were kind of prepared today, but then we went into audio issues, and now we're just like, we're just
forgot
gonna do it
just
because why
everything.
not? But let's just do it.
we
Hashtag
were
struggle
supposed
bus.
Struggle.
So Kaylin, go ahead and go through yours and pronounce as best that you can.
Penguin. How would someone else say that?
I don't know, but it was on the list, and I'm trying to find the dang list.
Penguin.
Just go through your
Penguin.
story.
No, it's
Or
not
your
on
history.
there.
Your history. Penguin?
Penguin.
Penguin.
Does anybody say penguin different?
Penguin.
I've never heard anybody
That's
say
the
that
only way I've
different.
ever heard it.
But it's so keep looking, buddy. I'm
I'll
gonna keep reading.
looking.
Choir.
Choir?
Choir.
How else would you say it?
Schweier.
Choir.
Core. Choir.
A chorus.
I don't think Mitch. You need to pull this up
I'm
because
trying
we
so
don't know.
hard to find it.
We're struggling.
It's one of these because it says that I clicked on it already.
rural.
Rural.
That's a
Rural.
hard word
That's
even
hard.
for
But rural, I kind of get that because you could say like you could just shortcut it in
Rural,
half.
yeah.
Like rural.
those 2 R's.
That's hard. It's just like rural. That sounds like a sound.
Yeah.
Rural.
That's the, oh, I just thought of something. Also in Russian, the R sound is we roll our R's. It's like R. You know? We don't have the R. You just hear R.
Did you find it?
I can't find it.
Look through your history.
Oh, the podcast is falling apart.
No, this is why you produce ahead of time. But I don't actually. I know how to say this word, but I have a hard time with it. Anemone. It
Anemone?
reminds me of Finding Nemo every time. Anemone. It's an anemone.
That's
just a hard. These are just hard words, Mitch.
Well, there's like letters in there that you aren't supposed to say that are in there, which is like one of those silent letters.
How do you say it?
Anemone.
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 Yeah.
Anemone.
It's just like there's just like a lot going on that one.
That is. I can't
Just
talk
like a lot
now.
happening.
Okay, I'm gonna try mine now. Isthmus.
That one is pronounced like with a Z though, and there's no
Isthmus.
TH. Yep.
Isthmus.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember
that's
that
weird.
one.
So Isthmus. Worcestershire.
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 Yeah, that's also like another
Worcestershire.
mouthful. Like
Worcestershire.
anemone, like a Nemo.
Worcestershire.
Another thing, Russian is a super phonetic language, so most of the stuff is pronounced exactly how it's written, which makes things very easy.
That would make it easy.
Okay, the sixth day of the month. Sixth. It's a weird word. Sixth.
You're supposed to pronounce that one with like a single letter too, though.
Sixth.
I'm so sorry, guys. I
sixth.
thought I saved my.
Wait, I'm trying to think. Is that like sixth?
Like the sixth of
How
a
else?
month.
Yeah, but how else would you say it?
Sixth.
I don't know because I can't find my damn article.
Okay.
It's a failure.
Caitlin, you're peeking.
failure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep. Let's.
I'm sorry. What do you got? What else you got?
Okay. Squirrel.
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 Squirrel or squirrel? I feel like some has more
Squirrel.
syllables than the other.
I've heard people say with like more R's, like squirrel.
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 Now I'm just trying to mispronounce it.
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
How do you say it?
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
See, I think I don't know.
I
It's
feel
that
like
and
we
ketchup.
all just sounded the same.
Okay. Colonel.
Colonel. Yeah.
It's weird because there's
It's
like an
just the
R
spelling.
sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Colonel.
See, I would read that as colonel,
I did read that as colonel.
but
in,
I
like,
know it's
eighth grade.
colonel. Yeah, no,
It's
I
colonel.
just learned
that.
that.
This word is really confusing.
Yeah.
Because there's no R in it, but like when you say it, it sounds like there's an R.
Do you not have any?
Colonel.
Is that
It's
it?
true. That was it. Those were
Well,
like the
no,
most common
what
ones.
about, I have another one, crayon. We didn't talk about that.
Crayon.
Crayon.
That was on your list.
Crayon.
Crayon.
Spell it.
How do you guys, this is a big debate, and it's been a debate since I was in elementary school. Is it crayon or crayon?
Crayon.
It's
Crayon.
spelled crayon, but I say crayon. I think it's a
Crayon?
Crawford County thing.
Crayon.
Are you the only one that says that, or other people
I'm
in
probably
Crawford
the
County
only
say
one
that?
that says it.
So it's just a you thing.
I have more that we didn't talk about.
Okay. Oh,
Apricot, apricot.
apricot.
You
I
have
said-
these all on your list.
Now I'm trying to think of how you say it though.
I can hear
I
you
say
moving
apricot.
the phone off the table.
Apricot.
Apricot.
I say
Which is
apricot.
it? Are these the ones that are like it could go either way?
I don't
Probably.
know. It's probably is.
Because caramel is caramel.
Caramel.
I say caramel.
That
I
one.
say
That one
caramel.
is on the list that you can pronounce
Caramel.
either way, which drives me nuts. I think there needs to be like
It's
a
caramel.
Caramel.
Apricot.
Not caramel.
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 Wait, is there a third way to say that? Oh my
said caramel.
gosh, get me out.
How do you
I don't
say
know.
caramel? Is it caramel? Is it caramel?
I think we just
Caramel.
sound really dumb.
Apricot.
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 I don't. No, thank you. I'm okay.
And Gleb
Just
also
on
says
Apple.
Nevada.
Nevada.
It's Nevada.
Nevada.
That's Nevada.
Oh, we got that one.
Nevada.
No, it's Nevada. I disagree completely.
Nevada.
Yikes. Well, this was a shamble of a podcast episode.
You have more notes. Read your notes.
Yeah.
That was all the words that I had. Straight up, fam. Taco. That's the last thing I have on my list.
We already did that.
And those
one.
are the 8 most.
Please stop that.
Oh my gosh. Leave mispronounced words that you know of down below. Please give us both examples. And Caitlin will be along later to grade them.
What?
Yep.
No.
Throwing
Yep.
you under the bus.
So that was one thing we wanted to talk about today, was just because we got in this argument last week about words that we were pronouncing wrong, and they had this story about ketchup. So we thought it'd be fun just to talk about it, and we wanted to keep it really light. So this episode might just be a little bit of a fail, but we had one other thing we wanted to kind of touch on. We're trying to figure out our niche a little bit, because we have a lot of ideas for like self-help stuff, and I like to listen to that kind of stuff, but I'm not sure if that's what other people want, or if they want more fun stuff like this that we did.
Oh, but this wasn't fun. This was a fail on Mitch's
It was
part.
no, it wasn't a fail. It was just you didn't pull up your article. So
I can't find it.
But
I'll find it when I go home.
It's something that people can think about. But so we're kind of debating on like which way we want to take the podcast, which we'll probably just bounce back and forth a little bit. So we want to dive into a little bit of a different topic right now, just for the last like few minutes of the show. We want to talk about podcasts we like to listen to, and kind of at the angle that we think podcasting is going and how it's kind of changing the way people get entertainment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what podcast do you listen to starting off? Or if you don't listen to podcasts, what content shows do you listen to?
I listen to Jenna and Julian because
of
Mitch
yours
introduced me
truly.
to it.
I don't know who that is.
And
Jenna Marbles?
and her boyfriend.
They have
okay.
a podcast.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. It is
So
so
I actually
good.
haven't heard her podcast.
I have listened to Sarah Dietschy's That Creative
Yeah, I
Life
like that
just
one.
because it was really interesting to listening to like just other people like that started their own businesses or entrepreneurs to kind of like hear
I'll
their
have to
story
check
and
out
how
now.
they
So
started.
it's relatable to kind of what
Yeah.
we do. But
And going to your question, Caitlin, about how they've like changed the medium, I think it's just like provides like a really interesting perspective into just different topics. Like it's way more interesting to listen to than like the radio or like the
Yeah.
news on the radio.
And so that's kind of what I got this idea from, is because I've been having a lot of conversations about live radio and how it's different now. People still do listen to radio. Like I listen to it for music, but talk radio in the morning is kind of interesting still.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that I think it's not succeeding as much as it is with our generation is people don't surf the surf stations or surf TV channels.
No.
They search for exactly
I
what
think-
they want, and that's the change that's happened.
I think another big thing that turns off a lot of people from that is like the ads. Because you listen
Yeah.
to a few songs on the radio and it's like boom, then there's like a whole minute worth of
But
really
you also get some
obnoxious
ads in podcasts.
like really
Yeah, but it's coming straight from that person. You can skip ahead to where
Yeah.
you started back
yeah,
up.
because you're just streaming it, so you just fast forward, or usually it's just their own voice. But like a lot of commercials on the radio, they're just obnoxious. Like you hear some car dealership commercial, it's like, come on down to Volkswagen
Those are
Salt
my
Lake
favorite
and
things to
Yeah.
listen to.
find our new deals, and they're like screaming in your face, and you're like, nope,
very
I'm gonna go to a
aggressive.
different station. You don't get that with a podcast. You just kind of like, oh, okay, they're gonna talk about NordVPN or MeUndies for the past.
And it's
Oh my
like a
gosh, MeUndies!
specific, it's a
For the next,
specific
like,
topic
30
that they're like
seconds.
interested in. Like someone
Yeah.
could have Googled our podcast last week, like how do I get over the fear of failure, and
mispronounced.
it's
Oh
just-
my gosh, mispronounced words. We're successful. We did it.
and podcasts just they allow that buffer a little bit to like just really dive into a topic, and like you can play it when you're driving. That's what I like. Is it's just I like to turn it on and I mindlessly listen to it.
I also
and
like that there's a lot of variety of different podcasts. There's like something for everyone,
Yeah.
basically. If you like listening to the news, there's various news podcasts. If you just want to listen for like to laugh and entertain,
Just
there's
to
like
entertain
Jen
it.
and Julian podcast. Or if you just want to
Ridiculous.
get some information or know some things. Another one I've listened to a couple of times was called Stuff You Should Know. And it's just talking
I
about like
listened to that one. That one's
random like facts and stuff about life, and yeah. Those are just fun because I'm like, oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that, but now I've learned something.
Mitch, what do you listen to?
Let me tell you, I pulled up my list because
Okay.
I'm prepared for this topic.
Mitch is the podcast
So-
listener here.
I had to kind of get in the groove though, because in New York, like that's what everybody listens to. So if
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to like have a conversation, they'd be like, "Who are you listening to right now?" And I'd be like, "No one," because I'm learning.
Yeah.
So I listen to Armchair Expert, and then
What are these about?
Jen and Julian. So Armchair Expert is like pure entertainment. It's actually Kristen Bell's husband, Dax Shepard.
Oh, I like
who
him.
like he's pretty well known for like he's written a lot of movies. He's been in a lot of like TV shows, stuff like that. But it's literally him and his best friend, and they interview celebrities that come on, and it's like these really like big people that have impacted like Hollywood. So like last week he had Elizabeth Banks on, who like has directed like Charlie's Angels. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. And then he also apparently like a long time ago he dated Kate Hudson, so they had her and her brother on because they started a podcast, and that one was super interesting because they talked about their relationship like 20 years ago. So they just have like these big name celebrities that come on and chat it up. So that one's a pretty entertaining one as well. And then I've also been listening to a lot of true crime.
I love
Oh my God, yeah.
OMG. That is my favorite. Like, I want to start my own podcast about that.
And like they're so addicting.
They're so good. I listened to Cold specifically, which was based here in KSL.
Cold, is it what it's called? What's
Yeah,
it called?
it's about
I haven't heard it. That's why I want to listen to
what's
it.
her name?
I don't know.
It's a KSL podcast. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name?
Think of her name, because the one that I listened to last was Dr. Death, and I
I
talked
am
about it
having a
on my
brain
Instagram.
fart.
You know
I
what?
remember you
It's
telling me
this
about
day.
that.
This day was a struggle.
Susan
I don't know
Powell.
why.
Susan Powell. You know the story of Susan
Yes.
Powell? It is such an... That
she sound
podcast...
familiar?
So it's a Utah case. Like, she still hasn't been found. But it has, like, audio recordings of the husband, and it's just, like,
Oh.
interviews with... You should listen to it. It's actually a really
It's
good
called
podcast.
Cold?
And it's by KSL Podcasting. Well, it's not by... It's by KSL.
KSL Podcasting.
I don't
Plug.
think it's K... But it's on, like, everything. So, but it's
I'll
a really
definitely check it
interesting
out.
one. And there's, like, a bunch of other true crime ones that I
Yeah.
follow, too. But
Now
that's
you
my...
type in...
I listened to that, like, all summer, and, like... It's good. I think they're
gets you
doing
on.
season 2 right now, too. So.
Yeah, it's
It's
wild.
exciting.
Dr. Death was the last true crime one that I, like, binge
should-
listened.
the Mile
Because there's only 6
High-
episodes. So I feel like true crime is really good because you can, like, digest those really quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any more?
Those are my list.
Okay, let me read a couple that I.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, so there's on the topic of true crime. There's one called. What is it? It's like the. Maybe I shouldn't be mentioning it. I guess I don't follow it on here. I have Today in True Crime, but that's not the one. It's like Mile Higher or something like that. I don't remember.
What's it about?
It's a true crime podcast, and it's on YouTube and stuff. But other than true crime, like I was one of the top of my list was Cold, but I really like the Shalene show. It's Shalene Johnson, and she's like a super motivating person, but she just has like this really good advice for self-help and stuff, and she just gets to the point and she tells you exactly why you're not succeeding and what you're doing. She's just like cutthroat about it, and I like that. And The Basement Yard, obviously. Have you guys listened to The Basement Yard?
I don't
It
know.
one's just, it's
sounds
just
familiar.
it's stupid, but it's so funny, and you guys should listen to it. It's Joe and Danny. They live in New York.
Joe and Danny, you're acting like we know them. What do
Joe-
they, what do they talk about? What is the podcast
But that's
about?
the thing is, it's just a funny podcast. They just talk about their lives, and they're kind of crazy, and so they just have a bunch of stupid stories, and it's just funny. I don't know. I'm surprised you haven't heard
I haven't
that
heard
one.
of them.
But yeah, the Creative Life, or That Creative Life by Sardici, I really like that one. And then
That's going to be fun to listen to.
Creative Disruption is Daryl's podcast. Daryl Eves, and he talks a lot about like strategy and stuff
Interesting.
for social media. So his podcast is actually pretty good too.
Pretty insightful.
With
I'm sure.
that, yeah. So in that niche, and I'm trying to think. I want to say Call Her Daddy, but that's an inappropriate podcast. But it's really interesting if you're into that.
That's fine.
It's pretty funny. I listened to one of the episodes.
It's funny.
It's these 2 girls that talk about...
Like inappropriate.
How would you
things.
explain it?
I don't want to say. I shouldn't have mentioned that one, but it's funny. Like it's fun if you want an entertaining podcast that's like.
It's funny. They just
Yeah.
tell their stories about like dating and stuff.
Yeah, but mostly honestly, I can't say any words.
It's just
It's
the
just-
day.
it's a
we
bad
need to
day.
just like call
Today's a
it.
weird
but we
day.
are. But I just wanted to talk about this, and we had a good flow going. But yeah, Cold, out of like all the podcasts, that's really what got me into it.
How many episodes is it?
Not that many.
Can I tell you something that I don't like about the true crime though?
What?
Is that they try to squeeze out like everything from it. So like they'll wrap after 6 episodes, but then they'll give you like fillers and updates and stuff. But
Let me
it's
look
like
at how many episodes this has.
it's never as good. It's like just give me the story.
There's like
Tell
20.
me what happens. I don't need to know the intricate details of what that lady said on June 19th, 1982.
It's informative. No, but this one there's 18 episodes, and I was interested the whole time, honestly, and it's hard to keep my attention. There's another one I just remembered, Sawbones. It's like a
Ew.
kind of a health podcast.
I thought
I
it was
think
a
I've heard
true
of that.
crime.
No. That's a
Sawbones? I was like, that sounds
Oh,
terrifying.
yeah.
They talk about health stuff,
I'm
but I like
in.
that one. There's a lot of podcasts out there, and I'm always kind of looking for new ones. So if you know any of them,
Yeah,
you
I like
can
suggestions.
just like send us a message on Instagram or something,
let us
or
know.
comment on the
Post it in
YouTube
the
video if you're
comments,
watching
yeah.
this. Sorry that this one was probably kind of like all over the place, but we're all over the place. We were gonna
It was a
cancel.
crazy
We were
day.
going to cancel after like
But then we
troubleshooting for
figured
so
it out,
long.
and we're like, let's just hurry and do it, and then we'll regroup for next week and just get it
rough.
together. But that's the process. If you're wanting to start a podcast, it's gonna take a lot of trial and error. So you need
Yeah.
to just like do it.
Not-
Stay consistent.
Stay consistent. That's the thing. Yeah.
And not just with podcasts. That's pretty much with any creative
with
medium.
anything. Yeah.
Anything in life. Let's
Anything
go
in
deep
life.
here,
Yeah.
man.
Woo!
Ew, stop.
But no,
you try stuff, you fail. Last
Oh,
week's topic.
We're so
Oh, boy.
relatable. Stop.
Now we're not relatable.
But no, and that's the point here. Let's leave it with an inspiration.
My
You'll
phone
learn
does.
something new every time because
Every time.
we had a mindset today. We're like, oh, it's already set up. We just got to put the cameras up, turn on the lights. It should be good to go. And then
And
we
then
were
that
checking
one
our
thing.
audio, and it was
And
static.
shit hit the fan.
And we were literally here for like an hour and a half, and I was just like, "What's going on?" And then we had to leave, and we came back, and we just filmed show. And now I have to finish all of the projects that I was supposed to have done
Yay.
this morning. But I'm getting a video done today. It's like 10 minutes away from being done.
Yay.
And then I have
Boom.
like 5 more
There you go.
projects.
Tell us all your projects right now. I'm kidding. We gotta wrap.
Do you
and
want
go.
to?
No, we don't. We don't.
Huntsman Cancer Institute, 5
Stop.
wedding videos, 6 wedding
No.
wedding
Okay.
videos.
Bye, guys. We hope you have a really nice week.
Thank you so much for watching.
Subscribe.
Bye. Help us.
Bye.